Joining us from Palo Alto, California, is John Taylor, who's now a professor at Stanford University. But John, of course, is the creator of the famous Taylor rule, which is considered the gold standard that policymakers worldwide use to help set their interest rates. And John was also previously serving as the U.S. Treasury Undersecretary for International Affairs from 2001 to 2005. John, a pleasure to have you with us. Let's talk about this G-20 finance ministers meeting in South Korea. What should be their focus here?
I think right now the problems with the debt and the sovereign debt issues coming out of Greece, coming out of Europe, it's really it's been an impact on the world economy, and so they need to focus on that. My own feeling is it should make that as a message to start drawing back some of these deficits and debt-growing stimulus packages. I think now what I'm hearing, though, is there's sort of a caution about pulling back too fast from those, but I think it's a mistake. I think they should start pulling back and learn a lesson from what's happened in Europe.
Yeah, John, learning a lesson from Europe, but they will point to Europe saying this is the reason why we can't pull back on stimulus. You look at the markets, they're pretty volatile these days. We could be heading for a double dip. They're trying to play against this.
They can pull back on the stimulus very gradually in an orderly way. I think the markets would like to see that. List some focus on how the long term is going to look for the United States. We've got debt projections going out there down the road starting to bother investors. Right now you got a little bit of respite because of the flight to safety, but ultimately I think people are going to look for how we're going to get this consolidation. I think they're beginning to worry about tax increases coming in the U.S. I think those ought to be postponed. So there's a lot of things to do to sort of solidify, try to bolster confidence a little bit in this very uncertain times, and I hope that's what they try to do.
Yeah, but John, we've seen the equity markets really rally, triple-digit gains in some cases because of this infusion of stimulus, this cash being funneled through the financial system. If you take that away, we could see, deterioration, a drop in the stock markets. And some say when you see a fall in stock markets, that could lead to recession.
Absolutely, but nobody's talking about taking it away. We're talking about not continuing with it, not increasing it. Because remember, some people are saying we need more stimulus, we need to do more of this. I don't think that's true. I think basically you got to start finding a way to wind it down. It's not really removing, it's really in an orderly way, getting back to policy that actually worked awfully well before we started to get into this. Remember, we're in this mess because the budget rules, the Stability and Growth Pact in Europe, Greece got off that, other countries got off of that. And so ultimately, this is not going to be straightened out until we return to those kinds of policies. And I think that's what they should be talking about. You don't have to do it in a draconian way. You do have to do it in a way that markets understand, and I think it'll work.
Okay, so what sort of initial steps should these economies be taking to withdraw stimulus here?
Well, I think in the United States, it's just a matter of not adding additional stimulus packages. There's a debate in the Congress right now about that. Similarly, in other countries, the IMF has assessed the impact of the stimulus so far. Some people come to the conclusion you need more. I think step number one is no, we do not need more. We need to start getting back to normal operation procedures, and I think that's a really big factor here.
John, I'm running out of time here. I just want to quickly employ the Taylor rule, the famous Taylor rule that you came up with. We're not seeing inflation. Isn't that when you say that we should be raising interest rates?
Yeah, I think it depends on the countries, of course. You're seeing inflationary pressures in some parts of the world. You're not seeing it in the United States. So interest rates are about where they should be, I think, in the United States and in Europe. But you see Canada's starting to pick up. You see, of course, Australia. And then the big question is China. China's seeing some pressures there. And so they're going to have to think about tightening their policies.
John, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for your time. John Taylor, Stanford University.